Welcome back. Once again, Pastor Guy Roberts, Pastor Paul Dare, and here in Christians in a Woke World, a call to courage, confession, and love Bible study. And this is chapter 1, where we introduce Karl Marx. And so that's quite the endeavor right there.
Yes.
But just as a reminder to you, those of you who are using this study, this is the time where if you haven't read that introduction section of paragraphs that explain a brief history, go ahead and stop the video, read that, and that'll help you have some background information before we begin. But for those who have already read that, Pastor Dare, Marxism has been around about 170 years, if my math is correct. It's been implemented many times around the world, and it's never gone well.
Nope.
Every time it's been tried, it's ended pretty horribly. And yet, here it is once again on our doorstep in America. Just from your perspective and all your time in this subject, what's so attractive about Karl Marx and Marxism?
Well, the way that Marx presented really his ideas back then, and the way that really his followers today present their ideas, really an offshoot, is that it's about helping people.
Okay.
It's about helping people, particularly that are suffering from injustice, people that are oppressed. And this is something that as Christians we hear and we want to say, yes, we need to get on board with this. It's about being a good person. It's about leveling the playing field. It's about all these things that truly sound very attractive, especially to people who want to help. And I would say as Christians, yes, we absolutely want to help, but what we're going to discover in this chapter and the others is that as Christians, while we want to help people, we have a completely different understanding of the cause of injustice in a lot of cases, and then we have a different and even incompatible view of then what the solution is going to be to it.
So in our past conversations, you've made the claim that Marxism is not a harmless political ideology, but that it's actually inherently evil.
Yes. So the problem we'll run into, and then you mentioned the results, what's seen with the results wherever it actually takes root in a society or governments, that it usually doesn't go well. That really what happens is while it claims to be about the oppressed and then helping people who are suffering from injustice, Marxism we're going to see is actually loveless. And it's about seizing power, no matter how many nice words and terms are used.
And so as we approach this study, there's a lot of chapters and a lot of different topics. But why should we then take the time to work through all of this thoroughly? What can we hope to gain?
If we don't understand the origins of this new ideology today that is out there, and as I mentioned in the introduction, all the new words that we hear, for instance, we take a look at privilege is one of them, and social justice, and these sorts of words. Unless we really get into where they come from and their origin, we're not going to be able to understand the world as Christians that we're living in, something I call a woke world. Of course, that's one of the biggest words of all. Yeah. And then how to live as Christians and respond and witness as Christians in this world.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I can say as a personal testament as you begin your study is that I wasn't aware of how much this exists in our culture today and all the places that you find it. And I think that you should also be aware that as you work through this study, your eyes will be opened to much of what is happening around you that you were maybe blissfully ignorant of before.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I'll tell you on one last personal note, when I started the study, if any thought of Marxism was crossing my mind that this is where this would go, boy, I sure didn't know about that. I was surprised as anyone.
Yeah, when I hear communist Marxism, I think of Rocky, and he's knocking down the USSR. So, but that's certainly not the case. Well, blessings on your study today. We'll see you in chapter 2.